So hello everyone, this is Mayeen Gelicania from Group 2 and this is our mini vlog about the environmental problems that can affect our biodiversity and that needed an immediate solution. So we conduct a research and we chose 8 environmental problems that we are facing in this current situation. So the first problem is overpopulation. So, what is human overpopulation? Human overpopulation is an hypothetical state in which the human population can be too large to be sustained by their environment or resources in the long term. So, this topic was usually discussed in the context of world population, though it may concern individual nations, regions, and cities. So, what might be the effect of human overpopulation in our biodiversity or even in our society, in our community, or even in our country? So, urbanization have a different effects, so many effects, but I'll just tell you the most common effects that we can see through our eyes in our societies or community right now. Overcrowding leads to further demand for limited resources, and this in turn can lead to more conflict or warfare. So, urbanization or overcrowding destroys natural habitats and reinforces carbon dioxide emissions, which can cause climate change, and not just climate change but also global warming. So species are becoming more extinct and humanity is a threat because humanity is a threat that it set up for itself. So food scarcity, shortage of water, as well as lack of job opportunities, and inadequate education are the results of global inequality. Uneven distribution of results or natural resources, financial means, and individual rights give rise to poverty and define the global culture as greedy despite the aid of international organizations and agencies. So there are many effects of overpopulation, and as we can see, there are many parents that can provide education or even food to their children that leads them to poverty. So many parents decided to throw their child away or give their child to charity or something, mga ampunan. So that is just one of the effects of overpopulation and problem that we are facing right now that needs an immediate solution. So as a student, what can we, or what might be the best way to help even we are just a student? So for me, we should learn or we should join programs that spread awareness about making child or learn about sex education or know how to control, have a mind that have a principle that making children is not that easy. It's not just a toy that we can play or give to other people if we want. So we should be aware, even we are just a student, we should be aware what might be the effects, having a control when it comes to these situations or problems. So even in this way, even in the smallest way, don't be ignorant or be aware of the effects, and in that way we can help or we might help the biodiversity or even our country. And that's all for human overpopulation, and the following problems will be discussed by my fellow groupmates.
Everyone's talking about climate change. But what is our climate? And why is it changing? Global warming is an aspect of climate change, referring to the long-term rise of the planet's temperature. It is caused by increased concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, mainly from human activities such as burning fossil fuels to generate electricity, deforestation to build high-rise buildings or even housing projects, and more. Due to global warming, our planet has experienced severe calamities such as floods, forest fires, drought, Arctic shrinkage, which causes high seawater levels as a result of the melting of ice in the Antarctic Ocean. What are the ways we can do to reduce global warming and help save our Mother Earth? We can help reduce the demand for fossil fuels, which in turn reduces global warming by using energy more wisely. We can actually use solar-powered appliances for our home. We must do our part to reduce waste by choosing reusable products instead of disposable products.
Good morning everyone. My name is Enrique Lampano and my topic this vlog is all about ocean acidification. In the 200 plus years since the Industrial Revolution began, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has increased due to human action during this time. The pH of surface ocean water has fallen by 0.1 pH units. This might not sounds like much. The pH scale is logarithmic, so this change represents approximately a 30% increase in acidity. The ocean absorbs about 30% of the carbon dioxide that is released in the atmosphere as levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide increase from human activities such as burning fossil fuels and changing land use. The amount of carbon dioxide absorbed by the ocean also increases when carbon dioxide is absorbed by seawater. A series of chemical reactions occur resulting in the increased concentration of hydrogen ions. This process has far-reaching implications for the ocean and the creatures that live there. The pH scale runs from 0 to 14, with 7 being a neutral pH. Anything higher than 7 is basic or alkaline, and anything lower than 7 is acidic. The pH scale is an inverse of hydrogen ion concentration, so more hydrogen ions translate to higher acidity and a lower pH. Carbon dioxide and seawater. Carbon dioxide, which is naturally in the atmosphere, dissolved in seawater. Water and carbon dioxide combine to form carbonic acid, a weak acid that breaks or dissociates into hydrogen ions and bicarbonate ions. Because of human-driven increased level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, there is more carbon dioxide dissolving into the ocean. The ocean average pH is now around 8.1, which is basic or alkaline, but as the ocean continues to absorb more carbon dioxide, the pH decreases, the ocean becomes more acidic. And that's all. Thank you.
Deforestation is the method of removing forests from an area in order to use the land for something else, such as agriculture, urban development, or logging. Deforestation has many interrelated causes and effects that can have a big impact on the ecosystem, the climate, and the human society. Agriculture is one of the main causes of deforestation. In order to make more farmland, farmers frequently destroy trees, which can degrade the soil, reduce biodiversity, and raise greenhouse gases emissions. Logging. Logging is another major cause of deforestation. Trees are cut down for timber and paper products, which can contribute habitat loss, soil erosion, and water pollution. Urbanization. As population grows and cities expand, forests are often cleared to make way for new buildings, roads, and infrastructure. Climate change. Deforestation is a major contributor to climate change. Trees absorb carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas that contributes to global warming. When forests are cleared, this carbon released into atmosphere, contributing to climate change. Loss of biodiversity. Deforestation can also lead to the loss of biodiversity, as many species rely on forests for their habitat. When forests are cleared, these species may lose their homes, food sources, and maybe the risk of extinction. Soil erosion. When trees are removed, the soil can become more prone to erosion, as the roots of the tree helps to hold the soil in place. This can lead to the loss of soil fertility and have a negative impact on agriculture. Water cycle disruption. Deforestation can also disrupt the water cycle, as trees plays an important role in regulating water flow and preventing erosion.
There are many problems taking place in society today. Some of these problems can be solved easily, or they can be extremely difficult to solve, depending on how bad they are. Many people are ignorant and unaware of how they affect the community, both positively and negatively. They think that these problems are for the government to deal with since they are in charge.
Pollution is a major issue impacting the society in today's modern world.
Although many individuals are attempting to reduce pollution, there are those who are unaware of how destructive it is to the environment, their own health, or the health of others, or what it may do to them. Pollution comes in many forms, including air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution. Air pollution is mostly produced by automobiles that generate dangerous and poisonous gases, as well as factories that emit a lot of smoke and pollutants into our atmosphere. Many species are killed by these hazardous fumes. They also harm our lungs and other bodily organs, resulting in diseases such as cancer, lung cancer, kidney disease, and so on. The burning of fossil fuels is also the primary source of air pollution. To prevent air pollution, we should carpool or take public transit instead of driving our own cars, which emit dangerous gas emissions that exacerbate the situation. We should also avoid burning rubbish or other things. Water pollution has become a major issue in the modern world. Many of today's water ecosystem and drinking water sources are being contaminated and degraded as we speak. Oceans, rivers, lakes, and ponds are just a few examples of water ecosystems that house a wide variety of creatures. Water contamination is caused by a variety of sources, including sewage, radioactive wastes, incorrect rubbish disposal on land, and inconsiderate beachgoers. These are all big issues that individuals do not recognize until all of the harm has been done. In order to reduce this issue, we should practice proper waste disposal, use less plastic, dispose oils properly, do not throw your waste to rivers and oceans, recycle items, and conserve water. Soil pollution depicts the contamination of soil due to the presence of toxic substances due to excessive use of fertilizer and pesticides, deforestation, industrial waste, etc. to maintain the soil's fertility. The government must limit the usage of fertilizer and plant more trees.
Imagine a place with the least pollution.
A place where everything is healthy. The ocean is crystal clear. You can inhale the fresh air. The water is drinkable, and no diseases will be acquired. If we want to reduce pollution, we should not always rely on the government. Instead, we should begin by teaching ourselves how to be responsible citizens, such as by practicing proper waste disposal, not littering everywhere, and planting more trees so that future generations can live in a least of pollutant environment or be free for a pollution sooner.
Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Khien Pelong from Group 2. So now I would like to discuss our topic, climate change. So go ahead. So what is climate change? Climate change refers to long-term shift in temperatures and weather patterns. Such shift can be natural due to changes in the sun's activity or large volcanic eruption. But since the 1800s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil and gas, and greenhouse gas emissions blanket the earth, they trap the sun's heat. This leads to global warming and climate change. The world is now warming faster than at any point in recorded history. Warmer temperatures over time are changing weather patterns and disrupting the usual balance of nature. One of the effects of climate change is the more frequent and intense drought, storms, heat wave, rising sea levels, melting glaciers, and warming ocean can directly harm animals, destroy the places they live, and wreak havoc on people's livelihoods and communities. As climate change worsens, dangerous weather events are becoming more frequent or severe. So that's all. The climate change and the cause and effect of climate change.
Let's talk about waste disposal. Waste disposal is the collection, processing, recycling, or disposition of the waste materials of human society. Collected waste lead to emission of greenhouse gases, which increase the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, result in the heating of our environment. Here's some effect of waste disposal: air pollution, climate change, human health, pests who carrying disease like mosquito and rats. And waste disposal can cause exposure to substance and pollutants can affect human health. Coming into contact with such waste can lead to skin irritation and blood infection. Experts point out that children are most vulnerable to pollutants, but proper waste management help improve air and water quality as well as reduce greenhouse gas emission. It's help in minimizing the destruction of resources, along with reducing pollution and energy consumption that are associated with manufacturing new materials. In the same way, recycling and reusing are considered to be the best waste management method because recycling not only allows us to get rid of waste material that we no longer need but effectively convert into something that is useful and it's required as raw materials for industry.
The loss of biodiversity. Let's first define it. Biodiversity loss refers to the decline or disappearance of biological diversity, understood as the variety of living things that inhabit the planet, its different levels of biological organizations, and their respective genetic variability, as well as the natural patterns present in ecosystem. Thus, the factors that causes biodiversity loss are as follows. The first one is climate change. It impacts biodiversity at various levels: species distribution, population dynamics, community structure, and the functioning of the ecosystem. The second one is the pollution. When we talk about pollution, we may think of car exhaust fumes billowing into the atmosphere. But biodiversity is not only affected by this type, it is also affected by noise pollution and light pollution. So the third one is the destruction of habitats. Soil pollution and changes in its uses due to activities such as deforestation have a negative impact on ecosystems and the species that make them up. Now, let's discuss the effects of biodiversity loss. So, biodiversity loss has many consequences, not only for the environment but also for human beings at the economic and health level. The first one is the extinction of species. The alteration and destruction of habitats puts thousands of species in danger of extinction. The second one is a threat to human being. Biodiversity loss endangers human well-being by affecting soil and water, which are fundamental to food production. The third one is the increase in CO2 emissions or the carbon emissions. The capacity of forests and oceans to absorb carbon decreases if their ecosystems are adversely affected. The high amounts of atmospheric carbon collects and stores heat and thus disrupting weather patterns, causing global temperature to increase and other climate changes. What can you do as an individual to solve this problem? The first thing we're going to do is to learn as much as we can about the nature and share our knowledge with others. That includes volunteering at an organization that focuses on conservation or restoration of habitats. The second one is to encourage and support local government initiatives that protect habitat and decrease threat to biodiversity. The third one is to recycle, reuse, and reduce. Recycling decreases pollution by decreasing energy, electricity, and water consumption and the need for landfills.